back to Counting the Cost, your one-stop shop for business and economics here on Al Jazeera. We're going to carry on looking at the euro now, but through a slightly different prism because, it's taking its toll on things like oil prices as well. That's on concerns growth in the world's biggest trading bloc could slow down. Now, many of the oil-producing nations, they're keen to keep prices around $80 a barrel. They reckon that's probably a fair price. Nicole Johnston sat down with Algeria's oil minister. She began by asking him about this euro crisis.
We are hoping that the European Union will make sure that this crisis is resolved before soon, because it may affect, the other countries in the European Union. But especially that if it is resolved, it's going to help a lot the petroleum market. With the announcement of the package decided by the European Union, we have seen, the oil prices going back up to the $80 level.
So where do you see prices going for the next 6 months? Will they stay around the $80 a barrel mark?
If the Greek crisis is resolved within, this month or next month, I think we should see quite an improvement in the oil prices, probably going back to where they were, before the crisis, to the 80 to the 85 level. Demand increase this year was very good. It's almost 1 million barrels per day, coming mainly from China, India, and Middle East, countries that are not affected by the situation. So we should see the prices towards the end of the year around $85.
Moving on to gas, Algeria is Europe's third largest supplier of gas, and prices are well down at the moment. What is the problem? Why do we have so much gas on the market, and what's happening with the prices?
Well, the reason we have lots of gas in the market is really what we call the non-conventional gas technology that was developed in the US and the last 2 years, and which supplied quite a lot of gas to the US market, and which basically prevented any imports, from other countries, especially from Qatar, because Qatar was planning really big supply of LNG to the US. So those quantities had to be diverted to other markets, like the European markets and the Asian market. So that means that the spot market, where, the agreements are made on a day-to-day basis, were oversupplied, and that has affected, the price. So the price in the spot market is around $4, while the long-term contracts that all of us have, most of our contracts are long-term, are around $7 to $8 a million BTU. So we are concerned that the situation in the spot market might spread, to the long-term contract. And we are seeing signs, from our clients asking to reduce the volumes and also to review the prices because of the impact of the spot market.
So as a major gas producer, that must be quite a significant worry. Is there anything you can do about that to try and bring the prices up, or to ensure that the long-term contracts will stay at around $8?
Well, as you know, we have met in Oran on the 19th of April. We discussed the situation, and the Forum of the Exporting Producing Gas Countries have decided in its resolution to tie, the gas prices to oil prices.
Now, Algeria's state oil company, Sonatrach, is currently engaged in a major corruption probe. What is it that was rotten in the company?
That's not something, I can discuss, because whatever happened is being, reviewed in the courts, in Algeria. What we did recently was name a new CEO, a new team to take over the management of Sonatrach. So this will bring a new life into the company.
A lot of countries might be tempted to brush something like that under the carpet to try and ignore that it's happening. This has been a major scandal in Algeria, with the CEO and 15 senior executives removed from the company, arrested. What made Algeria decide to take such a drastic step in the case of Sonatrach?
Well, it's not only in Sonatrach, by the way. I mean, it's really very important for a country, to make sure that corruption doesn't have, a way to first exist and then developed. So you have to be very vigilant because corruption has an impact on the amount of investment that could be done.
And it's now also engulfed the East-West Highway project, the massive $12 billion highway. Could you tell us a little bit about that project and where the corruption investigation is up to with it?
I cannot tell you, the details of the investigation. Specifically, the East-West Highway is a major project, in Algeria. It's a 1,200-kilometer project which interconnects, Algeria with its neighbors. It's, a major highway project which is, for example, instead of taking 6-7 hours to travel from Algiers to Oran, which is on the western part of Algeria, it takes now only 3 hours. As a matter of fact, that part has been completed.
Some other business news now, and London's famous, celebrated, iconic, quintessentially British luxury store, Harrods, has been sold by its current owner. Now, we should note he, Mohammed Al Fayed, is not British, nor are the new owners, the state of Qatar. In fact, it already owns a large chunk of British supermarket chain Sainsbury's and is developing the old Chelsea barracks in London too. Matthew Moore now on Qatar's global spending spree.
It's renowned for being able to procure pretty much anything and everything for its super wealthy customers. But its owner, Mohammed Al Fayed, has so far stopped short at selling the store itself. So why now? Well, the official line is that after running Harrods for 25 years, Al Fayed wants to retire to spend time with his family. He insists he's leaving the London icon in good hands. The Qataris are also keen to ease any concerns.
This transaction, beyond being a financial one, is very significant both for the British people as well as the people of Qatar. Therefore, we feel a sense of responsibility as well as joy. Our responsibility focuses on how to safeguard and develop this landmark.
The deal is worth more than $2 billion, and it's another sign of a broader trend. Just down the road, a large area of prestigious Chelsea was bought by a Qatari development company in 2007. The following year, Qatari investors came to the aid of a cash-strapped Barclays, injecting billions of dollars in return for a big stake in the British lender. Harrods then is just the latest acquisition by investors from an energy-rich country. More such deals are bound to follow as Qatar and others seek new ways to invest their massive wealth.
Greg Hodge joins us now. He's from Planet Retail in London to talk about this Harrods purchase. Greg, thank you for your time. $2.2 billion, that's what the Qataris paid for Harrods. What do you reckon? Did they get a good deal?
Yeah, I think it is a good deal. I mean, the first thing you have to take into account is the weakness of the pound and what the price probably would have been if the pound had been a lot stronger. I think the Harrods brand has a strong brand equity. It still has ability to grow, and I think that's important when you look to buy a business. You're going to want to grow a business, and I think there's already rumours about expanding to Shanghai and looking to take Harrods international. And I think it's a business that can develop, grow and increase in value.
Isn't that potentially a huge risk though? I mean, I've certainly heard those rumours too, the ones about Shanghai expanding into other places in the Far East too. You are dealing with a very famous brand, it is a very particular brand, it is a very respected brand, particularly in Britain. Isn't it a big risk heading further afield like that?
Exactly. I mean, the last thing that they want to do is become a common brand. They don't want to exploit the brand or wear the brand thin. I mean, you're already seeing Harrods outlets emerge in UK airports, and they obviously have brand equity there. They attract tourists that are leaving the country that want to buy some memorabilia. And I think you have to be careful about where you took it to. I think if they took Harrods to New York, it would erode the brand, the same as taking a similar New York-style department store to London would erode the brand of that company. But I think taking it to China, I think it's such a unique market, such a vast population, and somewhere like Shanghai, where there's such a cosmopolitan population growing there now, it does have potential.
So is this kind of just the way it is now, Greg, that a significant business like a Harrods, or you mentioned New York as well, something like Barney's of New York, which is owned by Abu Dhabi, significant businesses in big cities, they do get owned by overseas interests. A lot of heritage and attachment to them, but the fact of the matter is that the money is coming from overseas.
Well, I mean, Harrods has been owned by technically an overseas investor for 25 years now, and that hasn't really worried anybody that's shopping there. The fact that it's a UK heritage company that is based in London and its location has been very important. I think you see, as businesses grow and develop, become companies, become private companies, that the consumer is less worried about who actually owns the company and more about the heritage and the history that they stand for. And I think that's where maybe the international expansion may not work, is that just being in London makes it unique, and that is its kind of unique selling point.
Greg Hodge from Planet Retail, great talking to you. Thank you for joining us. Now finally, perhaps not surprising that people have been dumping their currency, particularly the euro, as we've been talking about, in favour of gold. It has sent the precious metal to a record high of $1,245 an ounce. But look at how easy it is to get your hands on some gold. All you need, an ATM and your debit card. Or at least this particular ATM. It's at the Emirates Palace Hotel in Abu Dhabi. It keeps an eye on the gold price and dispenses small bars up to 10 grams. Or coins even. And just for that personal touch, you can even choose the design that goes on your gold bar. And all for the low, low price of around $1,200. Don't forget to check out Counting the Cost online. This is our main page. You get there from the programs link at aljazeera.net/English. Blogs, video, profiles, broadcast times are all there for you. And we're on Twitter too. You can keep an eye on the latest business news and what's coming up on next week's show. You can send us your suggestions too. @AJ Counting Cost is the name to look for on Twitter. But that is it from Counting the Cost for this week. I'm Kamal Santa Maria from the whole team. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.